Hello YouTube, welcome back, GPK Forever, with another video. And in today's video, guys, we have a PSA graded returns. I kind of screwed up on this one, if I'm going to be honest. So let's get into this. I had forgot I had not done a video on this. This came in earlier this week, and I've already did a trade for 2 cards out of this submission, so this is already... This is not everything I sent in because I traded 2 cards already, so those are already gone. So I do apologize. Please forgive me. They were both 10s. They weren't like crazy 10s or whatever, but they were 10s. So unfortunately, yeah, we're going to be short 2 10s. This was a 20 card submission that I sent back earlier this year. Just came back. Probably, yeah, this was the last submission I had sent in. I kind of held off on sending some stuff in just for a little bit due to like work changing and things like that, so kind of wanting to let things settle down and stuff like that. But let's get into this. So pretty cool one, Darkrai 2016. This one is a PSA 7. Oh man, I used to have a little box that I would put the camera on, so it would be higher up. But the box, I accidentally stepped on it the other day, and it completely got squished. So, hold on. No, never mind. Alright, I do apologize. I'll have to find it. Actually, hey, there we go. Alright, let's get back into this. Okay. Ugh. Just came back from the gym, so gonna be honest, it was arms. Hit it pretty hard, so my arms are a little sore. But, so yeah, we have a Darkrai right here. Pretty cool, from the Mythical Collection promo. I bought like 3 or 4 of these and a bunch of other promos from Mythical Collection years ago. This one was a 7. I'm not going to lie, a lot of this was kind of fillers, because what I like to do is I like to put potential orders together, being like, alright, I want to prioritize this group of cards to send in the soonest, and then etc. But when I sent these out, that's kind of when I started this new system, so I kind of just grabbed whatever I was like, all right, this will be cool. This submission was also sent in when the fires were happening over in California, and I did the submission, sent it off, and because I wasn't paying attention to the news or anything at all, or any social media or anything, it wasn't until days later that I was like, oh, there's a fire down in California. I just sent my box down to California. So yeah, awesome, right? So PSA 7, this is, I just thought it was a neat card. I had a buddy who was looking for one of these, so I told him I had one and that I'd send it in. I haven't told him I got it yet, so, you know, not pretty cool, pretty nice card. Definitely an awesome era. I think I have the Genesect, the Arceus. I have the Celebes as well. I think it's just like the Meloetta I'm missing. Not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. Pulled this out of an Cividian Flames pack. This was pretty cool. We got a Charizard, the Hyper Rare Gold, and a Nearmint 8. Pretty cool. Again, just happened to be one of those in this stack that I grabbed and was like, all right, we'll send this off. You know, pretty cool. I was hoping for a 10, but you know how it goes. So, unfortunately, I will not be doing the guessing grades because, you know, it just came in like Monday. We're recording Thursday or something. Alright, Radiant Blastoise in a Gem Mint 10. Found this guy in one of my boxes, and I thought it was pretty cool. Happens to be the last Radiant one from, like, when I was opening up a lot, and I mean a lot, of Pokemon Go. I think at one point I had like 6 Blastoises, 4 Venusaurs, 3 Eevees, and 5 Charizards. Yeah, I opened a lot. At one point, I I got a great deal on those boxes, so can't really blame me for it, unfortunately. But I have it. This is the last one I had. Everything else I had graded and traded or either sold. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Combustion. This one was just a pretty unique card. And I mean, it's an area cup, and I had been picking up a lot of these area cup cards, and I think I got this one for a great deal from a vendor when I was just picking up a lot of cards at once. So I just thought, you know what, this would be an awesome, awesome pickup right here. I, yeah, I know I didn't get a 8 or a 10 or whatever, but just again a very unique card, and it's from 2014, so this is 10 years old now. So um, a lot of the ones I was picking up were black and white era, and I do have some, like I have winter tournament winter cards. I have a, if you guys haven't seen that video, it's probably a couple years old now. I have a PSA 10 Grovile winter card from Sandstorm, I think. EX Sandstorm in a 10. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, again, just thought it was unique. All right, we're gonna have a lot of vintage in here. I kind of went through, figured out which common, uncommon cards I needed for some of my sets I've been working on. The rule is anything 8 and up is a good. If it's a 10, it will not go in the set. I know, GPK forever. What do you mean 10s don't go in the set? It's just going to be a lot of money to try to get, you know, PSA 10s. So me personally, I rather just work with 8s and 9s for my sets. So that's how I do it. I know a lot of people want the 10s and stuff. That's cool. That's awesome. I just think, me personally, I'm like, that's going to be a lot of time, a lot of money, and you know, I'm going to have to be extremely patient with, you know, waiting for 10s to potentially, you know, populate onto the market, sort of a thing. So here we have a Nidoran first edition PSA 7. So one of the ones I needed graded in an 8 came back a 7, unfortunately, first edition, so not too bad, but I was hoping for an 8. This next card is hilarious. I sent it in. I bought it from a vendor, the same one that I bought the Nidoran. There's some jungle cards in here. I bought all these jungle cards from the same vendor. They told me it was English. They sold me a Dutch Goldeen. I did not realize it until I opened it up. Yeah, it's an excellent 4, so yeah, we already know that's terrible. But it's in Dutch. I did not realize it, and I just thought it was really funny, being like, oh, the vendor sold it to me as English when it's actually Dutch. So yeah, somehow I got a Dutch jungle card. After I realized that, I mean, I didn't pay very much for this, but I was just kind of like, well, that kind of sucks, you know? And I mean, with more and more people getting in the hobby and stuff, I would say my best advice is just make sure it's actually what it is. But I happen to buy these online, so these were what I was sent. But yeah, the seller sold it as a Dutch jungle Goldeen. So that is unique, very unique, if I'm gonna be honest. All right, here's a pretty cool one. We have a potion from base set 1999 and a PSA 8. You know, that's going straight into the set. Pretty nice. I was picking up there for quite a while a bunch of 8 cards I needed for my sets and stuff, for like base, jungle, and fossil, just because I realized I was missing like 1 or 2 out of jungle and fossil, really. But base is, I have the cards, just not graded, so it's kind of like one of those work in progress sort of a thing. This one's pretty cool. Charmander, PSA 8. Very awesome. I have a bunch of Abras. I bought it in a big bulk lot and stuff. A bunch of Abras that I had sent in initially. What's pretty cool is that I had a Pikachu in this, a Red Cheeks, and I got it in a PSA 10, which was awesome. But yeah, all the Abras I had gotten back, or I think I sent in like 6 or 4 Abras, and they're all like 9s. So pretty awesome when I looked out when I purchased that lot. I mean, there's like a lot of potions, some of the jungle stuff coming up, or I don't know. I think some of this stuff also came from that lot. Weeping Bell and an 8. I know it's not what everyone wants, but it's what I want, so we're going to take that. Definitely added that to the binder. Well, the set, really. Mankey and an 8. We'll take that as a win. Right? It sounds so funny that I'm kind of excited about common cards that are like maybe $1 or $2 or a couple cents, just depending on where you get them. You know, that I'm excited that I'm getting 8s on them, but it's like, hey, I'd rather, get a good grade or a grade that I want to use for my sets instead of like having to go out and pick them up. So we have an 8 Bellsprout right here. Again, going right into this set. Awesome pickup. We have a Meowth 9. This one was awesome to get. I was a little worried about this one, but it came back a 9, so to be honest, that's a win. I mean, if I remember right, I think it was in the bottom left corner. I don't know if you can see it with the case, but there was a little whitening, and I was a little worried about it. But it came back as a 9, so to be honest, that's a good day. All right, here we go. Next up, we have a Dragonite from Pokemon Go and a Gem Mint 10. Pretty awesome card. Funny story. I accidentally bought this with another lot of a bunch of full arts from Whatnot, and I didn't mean to, and I accidentally won, and I got like 12 full arts or something like this. This was like, I think it was in 2022 or 2023 and stuff. And I was like, hey, you know what? I bought this Dragonite. I might as well go and get it graded. Awesome, PSA 10. Pretty cool for just a pickup, that I accidentally bought. You gotta love it when you accidentally buy something and you're like, oh crap, I didn't mean to, and it turns out to be a fairly decent grade, which is awesome. All right, Ponyta came back as a 7. So I'm debating if I'm gonna use these for my sets because I'm trying to also do a legendary collection set. Graded. These are a pain in the butt to find graded because everyone grades the fireworks. Don't get me wrong, those are cool, or the hollows. No one's grading these common cards, which, I mean, I get it, they're just common, but at the same time, me personally, I'm like, I'm trying to build a set. I don't want the fireworks. I mean, yeah, I know I probably should get those collected as well, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to collect what makes me happy. And these common cards just, make me happy because it's like, all right, cool, you didn't get a hollow, but, this is kind of what you grew up with. Having a lot of common cards and things like that, So it sounds bad, but like, yeah, I enjoy the hollows. I enjoy the alt arts and things like that. But simple vintage common cards like this, they also make me pretty happy. And I also sent in another one, a Rapidash, and it came back a 7. So again, I'm trying to debate if I should keep them for my set. I probably will, and eventually if I can one-up them, get 8 copies, maybe then I'd trade these or sell these ones. But I think until then, I think I'm going to be using these as in my set to build that. And this is what's terrible, is like, I tried to start building so many different sets all at once. Like base set Jungle, Fossil, but Fossil's done. Jungle, I'm missing like, I think a card or 2 graded left, so that one's almost done. Base set, it's all the common stuff that I really need, except for like the Raichu Hollow, but then outside that, that's done. Team Rocket, which I think is like at 50% right now, which is awesome. I did Gym Hero, Gym Challenge, Skyridge? I think Skyridge I have like 20% done already. And then I have Neo stuff too. So this is what's terrible, is like I'm trying to get all this stuff done at once, and I'm not making good progress. It's like an all general thing instead of focusing one at a time. So that's kind of something I'm going to try to change. But here we go. Gouging Fire in a Mint 9. I know I didn't do this on camera, but I bought a case of Wild Force and opened that up. First case of Pokemon I had ever bought, because I had bought cases of like Garbage Pail Kids in the past, but surprisingly, even though I grew up with Pokemon, I never bought a Pokemon case. So I decided, you know what, we're going to buy one. Got a lot of cool, awesome hits out of it. Didn't pull the alt art I wanted, but I got the Walking Wake one, so that one was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, pretty cool. So Gouging Fire, very, very nice, awesome card, which was pretty sweet to get. Next up, we have another Wild Force from the same case. We have the Walking Wake and a Gem 10. Pretty sweet. So I'm missing the Raging Bolt, but it's funny, in the full arts, I have, I think Walking Wake is in here, maybe? Or one of them, but I have the Raging Bolt. Like, I'm missing one gold, but then I have the regular full art for it, which is kind of funny. So, yeah, this one is cool. You guys will like this. This is a banger. A Japanese Neo 3 Crobat in a 10. Yeah, in a PSA 10. And it's got a little swirl right here down at the bottom. I know you guys won't see. I love Japanese hollows, the vintage ones, or just vintage hollows in general. So to get this, it's pretty cool. And I mean, the hollow pattern is in the moon as well, as you can see there. And then up here in the wider, like the lighter part of the moon, it's also up in there, which is so cool. But yeah, no, I bought this, and I think this might have been my, yeah, I think this might have been, I think I might have one or two more vintage hollows left in Japanese from a lot I had bought years ago. I think that's the last one. Oh, okay. No. I've got two more. I have a Blaine's Arcanine. Here. Got a Blaine's Arcanine hollow. Pretty nice. And then a Porygon with the swirl right on the beak. Yeah, pretty sweet. So, I mean, I've got those. Yeah, that's about it. That's my last really, vintage Japanese hollow stuff from a lot I bought years ago. I think I bought those within a couple months of starting the channel. So, what, 7 years ago? Maybe. Comment down below if you know how old this YouTube channel is. Even though I own it and run it, I don't even know how old it is. Next up, Battle Styles, PSA 9 and Empoleon. This one was pretty cool. I had one pack that I had just found randomly with a bunch of sealed products. I was like, yeah, I'll just open it for fun. Wow, pulled an Empoleon out of that. Talk about crazy luck, So this was pretty cool. I had this is kind of a bummer, but if you guys remember how I had a pretty cool alt art collection going on. When alt arts were going crazy, I ended up selling them, and that's kind of what I bought like the case with and a bunch of other slabs for my collection. And I kind of missed some of those cards because I had a couple Evolving Sky or Eevee Hero alt arts and 10s that I had sold. And I'm just kind of like, kind of a little bit of seller's remorse, being like, oh, man, those happen to be my favorite evolutions. Kind of sucks. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to maybe build up my alt art collection again, slowly. So this is going to be a good first piece into that. So that'll be nice, to be honest. All right. Graded this guy because those Charmanders were going pretty crazy. And I wanted to get my hands on a 10 without going out and buying one. I got an 8, but 8s are good, still acceptable. But this is, you can't tell me this is not funny. So what I need is to get my hands on the Blastoise, or the Squirtle, and the Bulbasaur. And I plan on, I have a display case just with some of my favorite cards, like on the top shelf. Maybe I'll show you guys in a video. There's Fossil on the top shelf, and the next shelf is like Garbage Poké packs, wax from the 80s. It's almost all of them. I think I'm missing like two or three sets. That's it, from a complete set. And then there's a shelf full of vintage Japanese, like there's vending series, hollows, just some pretty cool stuff. And then the bottom one's full of full arts and stuff like that from X and Y. This is pretty cool. If you guys remember this, we pulled this bad boy. Yeah, we got a 10 on it. Let's go. Remember how I said I was probably going to build up that alt art collection again? I think we have to add this one. We might have to add it. part of me is thinking, oh, maybe I should like downgrade to like an 8 or a 9, sell this and use some of that extra capital in between to maybe go pick up another one or put that money towards another one. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but for now, this bad boy is staying in the collection. Pretty hyped about that. And then next up, here it is. Here's the walking wick I was talking about earlier. So I need the Fire Gorge. I kind of butchered that one. EX full art, and then I would have all three. And the two I have are 10s, so part of me is like, ah, crap, I might need to go get a 10 or something like that. So very awesome. Overall, a pretty good submission. I knew I wasn't going to grade very high just because of how many vintage cards I was sending in that I had picked up over the years. So I was a little worried, but on a lot of the big stuff, we got 10s, which was awesome. And really, I think a pretty good submission overall. Who knows? Maybe next time when I do a submission, I'll have you guys pick from my collection what I send in. So, thank you all for watching. I know this is a little bit of a boring video. I apologize, but I'd like to keep things simple. Hopefully we can get some more YouTube videos cranked out, or at least some shorts for you guys, get you some content, and until next time, this is GPK Forever, signing